Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Yeold's Guide to Building. And last time we were here, we went ahead and we built a little tavern here, or inn of sorts, for all of the pumpkin people to go ahead and go drinking, to eat, to sleep, everything. It was the perfect place for them. So now that all the pumpkin people of the town have somewhere to sleep and whatnot, it's a really good place. It's awesome. But today we've got to go ahead and we've got to talk to Mr. Pumpkinhead, the little mayor of this town, and see what he wants us to build today. So hey, Mr. Pumpkinhead, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Yeold. I'm doing really good.
Well, that's great to hear, Mr. Pumpkinhead. That's great to hear. So, what do you want us to build today for the town?
Well, we could really use a church for all of our pumpkin people.
You know what, Mr. Pumpkinhead? That sounds like a great idea. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get right on that.
Thanks, Yeold. You're the best.
I know, Mr. Pumpkinhead. I know. Well, guys, I think the perfect place for us to go ahead and build the church for this town would be right here. I think that would be the perfect location. The town's coming together real nicely, and I think that that would be the perfect location for the actual church to go. So we're gonna have to actually go ahead and get started with that. I have not built a church in quite some time, so we're definitely gonna have to take this slow. But then again, we also got to get going fast so that Mr. Pumpkinhead and his town people can get a church. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do here, but I think we should definitely start out with a frame for this place. And I'm thinking that we definitely want to go with something that's really tall for the bell tower and everything of a church, because that's what a church has got to have. You got to have a bell tower in your church. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking about doing something along these lines where we have a really tall peak of a church of sorts, but then again, I don't want it to go too sharp, but then again, I want it to go really sharp, because we don't want it to be too much like all these other roofs that are around here, because a church is special. It's got the steeple, and it's a lot more tall, and it's got a different shape to it. So I think we're gonna go with something more along something, I don't know. We're just gonna have to go along with it. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mess around with this whole little steeple ordeal here, working out the framework and everything, and we'll come back once I think I've come up with something. I'm thinking we're gonna go with something similar to this, but I'm just gonna mess around until we actually have something that I'm more certain about and that I think will work better. But that does look good, and then we might go with something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, finish up all the framework, and we'll be back in just a bit. There we go. The framework is now complete. Look at that. Look at that. It's looking so nice and spiffy. Oh my goodness. So I went ahead and I built up these pillars, or these framework right here, and I built it pretty tall, but I like how it came out, the shape of the front of this thing. So basically I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks, and then I went over 1 and up 2 for about 4 times, and then I capped it off with just 1 block going to the top. But I think it looks good for the shape of the building there, and I really like it. So then I copied that same structure there for the framework every 3 blocks backwards. So I went 3 blocks, then I built it up again, 3 blocks, built it up again, and I did that about 4 or 5 times here. I went 5, and I think that's a good size for this place. I imagine you could go back maybe 1 more if you'd like to. But after I was done with that, I went ahead and I built up this little area right here that's going to be the steeple, or where the bell is, the bell tower in our church. And I don't know, I'm still not sure if this is going to look as good as I think it is, but there we go. That's how it's going to be. I made it 3 by 3 on the inside, and I think it'll work when we get around to it. But for now, that's the basic framework. Over here, if we go down to the back, I actually went ahead and I built up a bunch of like stabilization right here. I think it looks pretty neat, but this shouldn't be something you need to bother with if you actually build on a flat surface. But right here, our little town here for the pumpkin people, it's a bit small, and there was a cliff here, so I had to go ahead and build some structural support underneath so it looked better and wasn't just hanging off a mountain. but I think it looks cool. I think it looks cool. And if you guys want to use that, go ahead. This is a cool little concept here for doing some cool structure support. I think it looks pretty good. So now that all of this frameworking is done, it's time to actually go ahead and get filling in this thing. Now, I haven't actually thought about too much what we want to do for materials and how we want to fill this thing in, but I'm thinking we'll probably stick with the theme for the rest of the town, which is a lot of spruce wood, a lot of cool different stained clays. I don't know which stained clay we'll use, blue, light blue, or purple. I don't know which one we'll go with. Man, I still can't believe that this is blue. It's light blue and blue, but this looks like purple. I'm totally not going crazy, am I? That looks like purple. But we're definitely gonna have to go ahead and fill in a lot of this stuff, come up with a cool looking wall for everything, and I'm gonna do all that, and I'll come back once I have something to show you guys. Okay, so we're back, and don't click away, don't go. It's not as complicated as it seems. I promise. But there we go. This is the front face of the church, and I must say I did go a little bit more detailed than I have in a lot of the other buildings, but I think it was important because just look at that. That looks awesome. That is a really cool looking church. So what I really think I did that made this whole thing here look really neat was this right here, this entire little beam here, this kind of an archway here of sorts. It split up the building well, and it looks really cool. I must say, it looks really cool. After I finished up placing all of the framework here, I went ahead and I decided to use stone brick here as the base of these walls, as in sort of a foundation of sorts. And then I used a lot of the glass, the white stained glass, because I thought it would go well, and I still think it does. I think it looks really cool, especially for this big window here for the church. But yeah, I used a lot of these cool archways. I put a little one up here, and then I put an even darker material up here. So I went from light blue clay to the regular clay, or the regular blue. So that's what I did there, and I think it looks super cool. Looks super cool. I ended up even using some of these cobblestone walls here and some stairs down here to make some cool design patterns, and I really like how it came out. But now, if we actually go around the corner, we'll see that all these walls here and all of these areas that are 3 blocks apart, I put in a bunch of stone brick, and then I put some windows. I repeated this pattern here that I put right here. I put it right here as well. Actually, I kind of flipped it, but still the same kind of pattern. And then I just put a window here in between, and I then covered it in little trapdoors, so they were kind of like, shutters and whatnot. So that's what I did for that, and I copied that all along the sides. We did the same over here. So if we go over here, it's going to look just the same. And then if we go to the back, I have the same pattern as the front, exactly, except for the fact that there's no door, because walking out here might not be the best plan for the pumpkin people. But we have a cool window nonetheless. But there we go. That's the cool little design I did for the 2 walls there. I think they came out really awesome. I really do like how they came out. Now, the next thing that we have to do on our agenda to finish up this little church here is we've got to actually tackle the roof. We have to get going on our roof for this place. Now, I'm thinking we'll just go ahead and probably use not sure. We'll probably just replicate something we did with these roofs, where you have the same wood going out a bit, the spruce, and then on the edges you do a funky thing like this for these roofs. But I don't know. I'm probably gonna mess around with it a bit, and we'll just have to see how it looks once I'm done. So I'm gonna get on to that, and I'll be back in just a bit. And there is our roof. Now, I must say, it's a bit different than what we did with most of the roofs in this town. Honestly, it's completely different. It doesn't even look at all remotely to all the rest of the roofs of this town. But I definitely think it was the right decision because, man, look at that roof. It looks really cool. I think it looks really cool because we didn't go ahead and make a really tall roof that covered this whole entire area. We were able to go ahead and place all these fences here, which gives it a really neat look, I must say. It looks really interesting because of that. So I'm really glad we went ahead and did that. But actually, I'm thinking now, I might want to do something a little bit different right here. I don't know. Maybe something like that. Who knows? But I definitely like how this roof has come out. It looks really, really cool. and I definitely think it was a wise decision. All in all, I like how it came out, and I think our next task with this place is going to be actually going ahead and trying to get working on just finishing up a lot of the details, because if I'm going to be honest, this place is pretty much done. We've got the back wall, we've got all the framework, we've got the roof, all the side walls. All we've really got to do is go ahead and finish up this whole little bell tower up here, and then maybe just add a few doohickeys, maybe a few potted plants and whatnot. That might be pretty nice and awesome, because if we just, grab a little pot here, we could throw some of these on some of these little ledges here and put some flowers in those. We can maybe throw some pots along the sides here and maybe on the other side as well. But yeah, I'm really gonna just go ahead and finish up those last few things to get some cool little finishing touches on the outside. And yeah. Okay, so I went ahead and I finished up all the decorations on this church. I put a bunch of these flower pots, filled them with flowers, did it alongside here, put them a bit randomly on the sides here. And then if we go up here, I actually finished up the little bell up here. I put a bunch of gold here for the little church bell, and I put up the rest of the stuff. I put some fences, I did the roof, and I like it. It looks good. I think the entire outside of our little church here is now perfect. And if we actually go ahead and we walk in, I may have actually gone ahead and filled it up with some furnituring. I may have furnished it a bit. But there we go. We got all the little booths for the church. We've got a book for the altar here. And yeah, there's the church, guys. There it is, completely done. I think we should go ahead and actually, I think the mayor's around here somewhere. Oh, hello, Pumpkinhead. Hello, Mayor Pumpkinhead. So there you go. There is your church for all of the pumpkin people. Do you like it? Yes, Yeold. It's amazing. Now all of the pumpkin people can go to church in peace. Well, Mr. Pumpkinhead, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. Well, there you go, guys. There is the church. If any of you guys ever need to build a church, now you guys know how to make a church. It's awesome. I think it came out really good. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to call it. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this cool build here. I think it came out really cool. It's a bit different than usual, but I definitely think it's cool. Maybe it's a bit weird, but you know what? I like it. I think it's really cool. But yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The links are all in the description as well as on the top of the screen right now. But this is what we're going to call it. Hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!